So today we closed on the properties, and we're just extremely excited about it. And at this point, I'd like to recognize Eric Bedingfield.
Thank you, Hank. Wow, seems like forever we've just been talking about and discussing this particular issue. And I really want to talk more about how we got to this place rather than what it actually means to the community. About 6 years ago, a family that served on the fire commissioner board down here at Canebrake contacted me, Kyle and Carol Gilley, about the potential of putting a park plan together down here. And of course, my first step was going to Brad White and Upstate Forever, and once I knew that they were involved in the process, and just trying to get a little history about the previous 6-7 years of this fund. And we knew we had an uphill battle after that conversation, because some members of the community were a little scared of the environmental aspect and others weren't. But we trudged forward for a bit, and it just seemed like we'd always get to a certain place and we'd hit a brick wall, and the conversation would stop. But the Gilleys never stopped. And the roadblock I always ran into when I was on county council was that I didn't serve in state legislature. I had no platform to speak from in Columbia at that time. No knock against the previous representatives, but there just didn't seem to be a lot of interest in getting the money spent. And there were always these roadblocks between Greenville County and Lawrence County. And my dear friend Mike Pitts agreed to be here with us today, and I want to thank him personally, because we would not be here today if Mike and I couldn't have reached some agreements with the rest of our delegations and with the governor's office and DHEC and DNR, who are the mitigation trustees for this money. But thankfully we got to this place. Fred assumed my old role on county council and called me up and said, "Eric, I've got the same phone calls you got in the past. What we're going to do about it?" And with his pushing of me, and with my pushing of Mike and DNR and the governor's office, we're here today. I want to do a couple things before I turn this over to Fred, but I am going to ask Fred to stand up here and join me for a second. This is a check for $1.603 million, which covers the purchase of the 90-some-odd acres related to the park itself. There's a total of about $2.77 million that's being conveyed to Greenville County and likewise to Lawrence County for their project just across the county line down the river. The future funds of the $2.77 million difference from here will be announced at later press conferences on how we're going to spend that money. There's a wonderful process put in place, agreements between the county and DNR, and then again agreements between the county and the rec district, and we're just as excited as we could be to be here today. I'm going to let Fred speak for a few minutes. Thank you guys very much for being with us.